This is episode 49, and the topic for today is small spaces, big style, Japanese apartment design tips. Hello, Sue.
Hey.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm very well. So small spaces, we've talked about this before, but the typical Japanese apartment, especially if you're talking about the big cities, Tokyo, Osaka, they tend to be quite small, unless you're paying a lot of money. You know, the standard apartment in these big cities is going to be quite small. So you need to be quite creative when you're adding furniture or designing the space that you live in. What's been your experience of this kind of trying to design the interior of a small apartment?
Measurements. Always understand your room and, what kind of furniture you can put in. Because it is difficult when you see something that you like, a chair, whatever it is, a sofa, a table. The size, you can think, oh, well, that seems good or seems too small or too big or...
Right.
But you really need to understand, I think, just measurements.
Yeah, I think that's a good tip, because I think if you're coming from a country where houses are big, rooms are big, the houses that I've been to in America, they're big. And you can buy any table you want, you can buy any sofa you want, any bed you want, and it will fit the space because the space is huge. That's not true in Japan. Certainly, well, we're talking about small Japanese apartments. You need to measure everything. One, does it fit the space? Can you actually put the bed where you want to put the bed? Does that table fit in your kitchen? And also, can you get it into your apartment?
Oh, absolutely.
Because if you live on the 8th floor and the only way to get something into your apartment is via the lift or the elevator, then you better make sure that it can fit in the elevator. Because if it doesn't fit in the elevator, then you need to carry it up the stairs. And we've been in situations where, we used to live on the 6th floor in Shinjuku, and our item would not fit in the elevator, so we had to carry it
6 floors
up 6 floors, which wasn't fun.
No,
it wasn't fun. So that's something to think about as well. Measure. Carry a measuring tape if you're going to look at a furniture store. Know the size of your room and take a measuring tape and make sure you understand what you're buying. So talking about these furniture stores, many people around the world, when they think of that, would be IKEA or IKEA. I'm not sure what the real pronunciation is. In the UK, we say IKEA. In Japan, it's IKEA. I don't know what the Swedish pronunciation is. But there are other options in Japan. Probably the most famous would be Nitori.
Yeah, and that's a store that has grown a lot since we came.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Nitori used to be not in the big cities, if that makes sense. So I used to live in Niigata, and Nitori was common in Niigata. That's where you went to get your furniture, or even household things, kitchen stuff. But you come to Tokyo, when I came to Tokyo, there was no Nitori.
No, you had to go kind of the outskirts of Tokyo to find a Nitori. And it's big stores, but now you can see them in even Shibuya has a very big store, Shinjuku as well. Yeah. And yeah, it's It's a great shop. It's a great store.
It's different. How is it different? How would you describe the difference between, say, Nitori and IKEA?
I don't know. Well, to start with, Nitori doesn't have like a floor of showrooms. It's just it has different floors, and in each floor, usually you have different things. So you can find kitchen things in one floor. You can find furniture in another. You can find, I don't know, bedding, curtains. Yeah, it's the different floors will have different things. Bedding, for me, Nitori is, I love bedding in Nitori.
Yeah, I think things like futons, pillowcases.
But they will have for summer and for winter, right? Yeah. Special.
Right.
For summer, all the cooling kind of bedding.
Yeah, this kind of material that you can have that maybe on the pillow that will be cool.
Yeah.
So on the hot summer months in the evenings, you don't kind of sweat so much when you're sleeping.
And also for winter, the heating, it's quite good.
Yeah, I think Nitori is very Japanese. Mm-hmm. The furniture style looks very Japanese.
It is, and it's quite low.
It's low to the ground. It's heavy.
It is heavy, yeah.
It's a strange thing to say, but it's really solid, strong furniture and expensive. Mm-hmm. Nitori would be more expensive than IKEA.
I think so, yeah.
One thing that I would, if I wanted a kotatsu, can you remember what a kotatsu is?
This kind of table that has heating.
Yeah, it's a low table, a very, very low table that you would sit under. And yeah, underneath you would have a electric heater. So it's a table that you plug in. And in the winter, you can put basically a big sort of blanket over the top of this table. Your legs go underneath, and it creates this kind of pocket of heat underneath. And yeah, again, when I lived in the cold part of Japan, in Niigata, everybody had a kotatsu. It was a standard piece of furniture. Tokyo, not so necessary, but in Niigata, definitely. And you visited me when I lived in Niigata, and I think you were a fan of the kotatsu.
It was not only my legs, it was as much of my body as I could, sneak under the table.
Yeah. It's a very popular place for cats and dogs. They'll just sneak under and sleep in the kotatsu. Okay. So big differences in design of these, Western style apartments and Japanese style. So IKEA and Nitori is an interesting comparison.
Nitori also will bring the furniture already done.
That's true. Yeah. IKEA, you build the furniture.
Yeah.
Nitori, most of it will be, maybe there's a couple of bits you need to connect, but it's already made.
And I think they do it for you. They come, they fit,
true.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. We did. We got one once, and they came and they kind of did all the final finishing for us. That's a big difference. Okay, let's move on. Again, talking about size, you need to think about how to use your space. So storage. If you've got lots of clothes or maybe items that you don't use all the time, where are you going to put them?
Especially because, Japan very proudly has 4 seasons, and they're very clear. So you don't really use the same things all the time. We have heaters as well as fans. We have, winter clothes as well as summer clothes.
Yeah, so when you're not using your heater, where are you putting it?
Exactly.
If you're not using your fan, where do you put it? So you need to store stuff So you need to think about what you're buying. Like, are you really going to use that? And if you're not using it, where do you put it?
I think there's a lot of companies that do storage, for example, but that can become expensive.
So when you talk about storage, you're talking about
Units.
like a storage unit. Like it's like almost like a shipping container unit. And you see these, they're very common where we are. And maybe, I don't know, you pay 10,000 yen a month, 8,000 yen a month, something like that. But you have this unit away from your apartment or house, and you can keep your stuff there. So many people, they will have their winter stuff stored there during the spring, summer, autumn. And then when it comes to winter, all the summer things, maybe the bicycles and the, I don't know, whatever kind of summer equipment might go into storage. So they have this second place. But that's not possible for everybody because it is expensive.
Becomes expensive, yeah. Month after month, yeah.
Yeah, you're paying 100,000 yen a year to store stuff. You need to think about what you're buying. Renting. So many people, when they come to Japan, they will be renting rather than buying. And there will be rules about what you can do to your apartment. So your landlord or landlady, the person who owns the apartment, the person who's renting to you, they might say you can't make any holes in the wall. So that could be something as simple as putting up a poster or even just putting a nail in the wall to hang a painting. So you might be limited in how you can personalize the apartment.
Yeah, the idea is that you don't change anything and you don't kind of, because here they use wallpaper even in the ceiling. So it's, you put a nail and that's it.
Yeah.
The wallpaper is gone.
Yeah.
So it's not an easy fix.
Mm-hmm.
So it is quite difficult when you're renting to make a space your own. Also, sometimes, especially small places, don't really have a lot of storage. So, pushing things up might be a little bit difficult. Usually when you rent, I think it'll come with a lot of stuff. And anyway, you cannot put a lot in.
Yeah.
But there's very small units that you can buy here and there. That could help you, but no more.
Yeah. It's one thing to think about is if you move apartments, you might have to clear the apartment. Mm-hmm. You might have to remove all the furniture. So when you rent the apartment, it might be unfurnished, which means there's no furniture, no bed, no sofa, nothing. Maybe no refrigerator, no washing machine, nothing. Maybe even no air conditioner. Mm-hmm. So all of these items you would need to add. And that's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Air conditioners are not cheap.
No.
Washing machines are not cheap. Fridges are not cheap. So that's one thing. Moving in, you need to buy a lot of furniture. And if you move to another apartment, which is quite common, maybe you stay in a place for 6 months or a year and you want to move, then you need to pay to move all that stuff, or you need to get rid of that stuff. So moving and paying a company to come and move your stuff, obviously that's an expense, but it's a very big business.
Oh, they're fantastic. Yeah, no, they come and I think anything and everything you can just let them in and they'll put everything in boxes and...
Yeah, you don't pack anything.
No.
They bring the boxes.
Yeah.
They will pack it. They will organize it. and they will put it in a van or a truck, go to the new place, and I think they will just unpack the boxes, and then you kind of arrange your new apartment as you like. But it's a full service. I think it's worth going on YouTube and seeing how these guys work. Alternatively, if you just want to get rid of stuff, it can be expensive.
Yeah, you have to pay.
Yeah. So if you have, for example, a table, say you've got a kitchen table that you want to get rid of, you will need to contact some local government office and say, I have a table, I want to get rid of it. They will tell you the day that you can throw it away. So they will ask you, first of all, where are you? You'll tell them I'm in this area, and they'll say, okay, you can throw it away, next Tuesday or a week on Thursday or whatever. And it will be, 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Right.
And depending on the size, you have to tell them the size. And depending on the size, it's a price.
Right. So it could be, maybe for a big item, it could be 800 yen. So you'll go to the convenience store, you'll get a couple of stickers, and you'll put the stickers onto the table, and then you will take the table to the location that you were told to leave the table. And then on that day, a truck will come and they will check the sticker, make sure you've paid, the money, and they'll remove it. So that can be expensive if you've got a whole apartment, so getting rid of an air conditioner, that could be 4,000 yen. Getting rid of a refrigerator, that could be another 4,000 yen. So very quickly, you can spend a lot of money. There's a relatively new alternative, which is using Facebook groups. So a lot of people, when they're leaving Japan or moving apartments, they want to get rid of stuff. You can post information on Facebook, a picture, description, your location, and either you can say this is free for people, if you want it, come and collect it, or if it's a small item, maybe we can meet at a train station and I can give it to you, or if you want some money for it, you can try to sell it and decide a price with somebody. So that's good if you want to get rid of stuff. It's also good if you need stuff.
Yeah, because even though an apartment can be small, you might need different things, and that's a cheap way to get what you need. We've used that quite a lot to get stuff. No, more to get rid of stuff.
Get rid of stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's great if you're a student. If you're a student and you're going to be here for a year and you just need something, you need a small fridge, or you need, a fan or a heater, these groups are a great way to get stuff.
Absolutely.
It can be quite seasonal. So if you have a fan that you want to get rid of and it's the middle of winter, probably nobody wants the fan. And also in the summer, if you want to get rid of a heater, nobody wants the heater when it's 35 degrees outside. So, yeah, it takes some time. It takes some time when you come to Japan to learn the space, learn about what works, learn about how you're going to get stuff. Maybe you're going to get it delivered. Maybe you can, borrow a friend's car or something, or a friend's truck.
But always thinking about how you're going to get it, but also how you're going to get rid of it when you leave.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or when you don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
That's a key element because it's not as easy.
That's a big difference for me. Like, having lived here when I buy something, I think about, if I don't use it, is it going to be difficult to throw away? Is it going to be expensive to get rid of? And I never had to think about that in the UK. Just wasn't part of the decision process. But yeah, so it's interesting how Japan has changed the way I think about buying things.